Not to be a jackass, but the world doesn't care how you feel. But you know what? It's all right. We're going to talk about it. Yeah. Hey, friend. Sorry to break it to you, but nah, the world doesn't care how you feel. But it's okay. It is okay because we're going to get through it. All right. Now, I'm Dr. Burgandi Collins, chiropractor in real life. And day after day, I mean, I see hundreds of patients a week. And day after day, patient after patient, people just use me as a sounding board and they come in here and they vent about everything that's going on in their life. Now, we should be focused on the neck and the backs and the hips and the shoulders and the elbows and the knees, but it's okay. I don't mind hearing all these problems that people have. But honestly, there's really nothing that I can do for you or your situation. And very often, the people that you're venting to, they can't do anything for your situation either, baby. So that just ends up being a situation where you're just constantly just having this verbal diarrhea and you're just spilling the beans on all the horrible things or bad things or negative situations in your life and just putting it out there, and it probably really doesn't even make you feel any better, right? So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing two things that I have been doing for years to prevent me or help me from being that guy, that person, as my name would say, that guy, or from being that person who is just the one you dread. You ask them how they're doing, and all you really want them to say is, "I'm doing fine, I'm okay," but they just go off about everything else that you probably don't care about. So anyway, let's get right to it. Okay. The first thing that we're going to be doing that is try and true that I do is I do my very best, my level best to control my thoughts. Okay. Sounds simple, right? But it ain't simple because our thoughts are what gets us in trouble. You know why? Because our thoughts will shape our perception, and our perception is going to create our reality. You want an example of that? Here we go. So, say for instance, I am expecting that every time I go to the store, I'm going to be treated poorly. The cashiers are going to be rude to me. Nobody's ever going to want to help me. Is every time I go to the store, it's going to be a horrible experience for myself. So therefore, I hate going to the store. All right. So I'm constantly telling myself that, oh my God, I hate going to the store. These people suck. They never treat me nice. That's going to create my perception, right? Just that thought. I'm going to then therefore perceive that when I go out, people are going to be rude to me. They're not going to be helpful. They're not going to be nice to me. And then my world is going to reflect that to me. It's going to mirror it to me. How is it going to do that? With some kind of voodoo, some voodoo? No, it's going to do that because my energy, and not only my energy, but my behavior is going to be based upon my perception. Because I therefore think that people are going to be rude to me, they're not going to be helpful to me, then I'm going to encounter people with that sort of attitude. I'm going to have the disposition that you're not going to help me. You're going to be rude to me, so I'm going to behave in a way. Maybe I'm going to avoid people when I go, or not make eye contact with the cashier, or maybe not smile at him or her, and just expect the worst behavior. As a result, that person or those people aren't going to be friendly to me. They aren't going to be offering to help me, and it's not because that they're bad people, but because I already expect them to treat me like crap. Therefore, my world is going to reflect my perception. That perception started with just a thought. Now, here's a better example. Say, for example, every time I go to the store, I always expect people to be super nice to me. And not only that, I always expect to get the best parking space because this is actually true for me. Whenever I go places, I expect people to be super nice to me. I expect people to offer to help me. I expect discounts. I expect the best experience. Even if I'm just going to the Safeway or the Harris Teeter, or if I'm going to the mall, or if I'm online, I expect that when I go shopping and when I go out, I not only get to park in the front, but I get the best treatment from people. So what happens? Because of that thought, I expect people to be nice to me. So when I go out to these stores, I always get the parking space in the front. People, if the door doesn't automatically open, people always hold doors open for me, like men and people, that people go out of their way to hold doors open for me. If the doors are like one of those automatic doors, people yield to let me in or out first. When I'm walking down the aisles, the people are making eye contact with me. They're offering to help me. Their energy is one of availability. And when I go into the cashier's line, the people are always kind to me. They're chit chatting me. People are always compliment me, and I always get discounts on, say, money on tight, and I'm like, I need something to be a little cheaper. I always get those discounts. You know why? Because I have the thought that people are always nice to me when I go shopping and when I go out, and I always get to park in the front space. And because I thought that that's my perception, that's what I then to expect. And then people reflect that to me because my energy and my behavior when I'm out, if I'm expecting people to be nice to me, to do things for me, and just treat me like the queen that I am, my energy and my behavior is going to behave in that manner. And therefore, people are just going to bend to that will. Okay. So here's another example of that. And I've been doing this stuff for years. So when I say years, I mean years. And it didn't start because of this law of attraction, law of assumption, affirmation thing. No, this started back in the day when I was going to church. I've been going to church my entire life up until very recently. And in church and Sunday school and growing up in the house, we were taught to read scripture. We were taught to read the Bible. And there were certain Bible scriptures that I would commit to memory to help me in certain situations. Now, in school, I was all state in track. I was an excellent track runner. You can look me up. It was in the 90s. I don't know if you find anything, but I was all state in track. I was very competitive in sports. And also, I was very active in school and church. So I was always like up on the stage doing something. But every time I had to do something, most of the time, I was nervous. I had jitters. So what did I do? I would tell myself or reinforce myself before that race, before that event. I would tell myself I could do all things through Christ who strengthened me. I could do all things through Christ who strengthened me. If I was scared of something, I would tell myself, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. Just certain scriptures I would tell myself over and over again to change my perception of what I was about to experience. And thus my word will reflect that to me back to me because of my behavior and my energy in that new mindset. So before I ran a race, I would tell myself I could do all things through Christ who strengthened me. And what happens? I was like the best in track. Well, not the best, but I was real good. I was all state, I was placing, I was doing my thing. Okay. And I was very successful in school. But it's because I would tell myself over and over again that I could do all things. Plus my parents would tell me, girl, you can do this, Burgundy. You can do whatever you want. Like you got this. So by hearing my parents tell me that I can do all things, to do everything, and then reading that in the Bible and knowing that God had my back and then telling myself that I can do it, I grew up very confident knowing that I could accomplish all things because that was my perception. So if we want to change how we experience life, say we're experiencing that things are really, really bad or really rough for us, just change how we perceive the situation. So say we're going through a tough time and like maybe money is tight or we're afraid of failing at a particular thing. Just take whatever that negative thought is, just flip it and write an affirmation or find a positive thought that is the exact opposite. So say if you think that oh, I don't have enough money, I never have enough money, start telling yourself that there is plenty of money. I have plenty of money. I have so much money. I'm so successful. Money comes to me always. I'm a money magnet. You're going to start thinking that. You're going to start perceive, that's going to be your perception. Therefore, you're going to start to perceive that the world has money for you, that is never any lacking in that area. And then you're going to start to experience that because your behavior is going, you're going to show up in a world a different way. You're going to find yourself having different conversations with certain people. You'll find yourself in different situations, in different environments in that way. And you're going to begin to then see a change in that area of your life. So try it. Number one, I know it's pretty long, but do that. Just go ahead. I had so many examples. Just go ahead and I'm telling you, this is try and true. Just change your thoughts and really ruminate on that positive or those positive thoughts. It's going to change everything. I promise you. Okay. All right. Okay, so here's the second thing. You should incorporate a meditation practice. Did I lose you? I'm serious. Incorporate a meditation practice. I have been meditating for decades, off and on, and it honestly has been life changing. Meditation helps to soothe and center and just sort of calm down our nervous system. It helps to sort of suppress the fight or flight, our sympathetic nervous system, and sort of promote more the parasympathetic nervous system, which is our rest and digest. So it helps us to be emotionally regulated. It helps to relieve stress. But scientifically, it affects three parts of our brain, which allows us or helps us to not be so focused on negativity or negative things to prevent us from having that verbal diarrhea, telling everybody how bad life is. Um, by affecting these three areas. So the first area that that meditation helps to positively affect is our amygdala. Now, our amygdala is basically the area where our emotions sit right? It's where emotions are regulated, particularly the emotion of fear. So with meditation helps to decrease the amygdala and also helps to make it less reactive. So things that could cause us fear, panic or anxiety, when we meditate, the meditation helps to calm and you sort of chill that area of the brain out, so we aren't so perceptive to things that could make us fearful, or we don't perceive things as often as a fearful or panicky situation. All right, the second area that meditation helps to affect in a positive manner is the prefrontal cortex. And the prefrontal cortex is like the boss. It's the boss. Okay, the prefrontal cortex, it affects our impulse, and it also affects our emotional regulation. So with the prefrontal cortex, that's the area. So say for you're engaged in a conversation and somebody says something that you don't like, or there's a situation occurring that you don't like. Now if the prefrontal cortex is like hyper, it is not regulated, your impulse control is going to be gone, so you're going to respond to that situation or that comment very quickly without thinking, and then your emotions are going to not be completely regulated. It's not going to be exactly appropriate. So with meditation, it helps to just sort of chill that area. It helps to slow that area down. So if something negative that you perceive to be negative is said or you're experiencing, it's going to, number one, just slow you down so that you can just sort of take a minute, take a breath to just sort of assess the situation. Okay, slowing down that impulse. And then it's going to help to regulate or control the emotion that you respond. So you will respond with a more appropriate response, a more diplomatic, maybe a more mature, should we say, emotion to that situation. All right, the third area that meditation helps to affect in a very positive manner is the default mode network. Now, the default mode network is the area that I like to call sort of like the worry center. It's a part of the brain where we sort of think about who we are, how we perceive the world around us, how we expect the world or people to treat us. It's that part of your brain that if you aren't doing anything, I like to call them pop ups, different pop ups or different thoughts, ruminations pop up in our mind. Say, for instance, you'll just be minding your business, not thinking about anything, and all of a sudden you'll start thinking about an argument you had 20 years ago. And you may start saying, man, I should have said this, or I shouldn't have done that. Or maybe you start ruminating on a decision that you made or that you maybe would have done differently. That area of our brain can be very active if we are not regulated. And meditation helps to regulate and actually sort of quiet down that worry center. It helps to quiet down that rumination area of our brain, so we don't spend the pauses in our mind and our thoughts with the negative thoughts. So we don't have as many negative pop ups and thoughts. So meditation is fantastic. I have been meditating again for decades. Sometimes I'm more consistent than others. If you don't like the idea of meditation, maybe do some prayer or something like that. But those are the two things that I do or try. I don't try. I live by these. I live by these. So if you need to write down some positive thoughts to affirmations or Bible scriptures to control your thoughts, do that. And then if you need to do something else, get into some meditation. A regular meditation routine is going to also help you to be less needy. You'll be less into getting validation from other people, and that will help to slow down and decrease your propensity to tell everybody about how bad life is, because you probably want some sympathy or some virtual hugs or some accolades for going through whatever tragedy or bad situation you're going through. So please incorporate or try incorporating these two things. I promise you it will be a life and a game changer. Now if you have ever done any type of affirmations or use affirmations on scriptures to help you out, or done any meditating, I would love to hear about your experiences down in the comments below. And I have also written lots of books on these subjects that are very helpful. So if you need a little bit extra help on these subjects or more information, just click into the description. You'll see a bunch of links for some things that are helpful. Now I hope this video is very helpful for you. And if you enjoyed it, please like it, please share, and also please subscribe, because a sister girl try to be monetized. Okay, because again, I am trying to take a vacation this year, and it'd be great if I could use some YouTube money to take a vacation. So we'll see how it goes. But I'm positively expecting that I will be able to use some YouTube money to take a trip this year. So we'll see. And now we'll see. It'll happen, right? Okay. All right, but we'll see you guys in the next video. So take care and thanks for watching. All right. Peace out.